This is going to be a two-part video. The first part, we are going to look in the Library of Congress and try to find a historical damaged image. And then in part two, we're going to hand tint that image. So before we start looking in the Library of Congress, the link is right here, I want to talk about some image requirements for the image that you're trying to find within the Library of Congress. So first of all, we want to make sure that the image we're looking for is a photograph. There are illustrations and cartoons, and we're going to try to avoid those things. We actually want to find a photograph. And another requirement for your image is that it needs to be a black and white photograph. So we're not going to find a color image. We want it to be historical, and we want it to be a black and white photograph. So there needs to be some visible damage to the image. I highly recommend that you look for an image that has about 10 to 25% visible damage. So you're looking for an image that has wrinkles or folds, dust specks, maybe it has torn or missing areas, scratches, a discolored area, but don't try to go for more than this. Okay, so we want it to have at least 10%, but don't go for so much that you're going to spend a significant amount of time actually fixing up the image. We want to get to the hand tinting part of it. So this is kind of the range that we want to look for. The other thing is that we want it to have some detail, but we don't want to have it so much detail that we have all these areas that we need to colorize. So your target is to look for an image that has about 10 areas that need to be colorized. I suggest not doing more than 20. It's totally up to you. If you are a go-getter and you know that you want to reach for a 4, you want to do more areas and you know it's going to take more work, and you don't mind the amount of areas that need to be, go for more than 20. But for a 3, we're looking between 10. You don't have to make it too hard on yourself. Okay, so knowing that we have these image requirements, let's go ahead and click the link and then go to the Library of Congress. Here we are. And notice that it's already brought us to, the link has brought us to the prints and photograph. So these are all copyright-free images that you can use. And we're going to scroll down under where it says all collections. And if you pick any of these blue links, it's going to bring you to a collection of image. And they've kind of named them according to what they are. So we want to avoid any that say cartoons. We don't want cartoons. We don't want illustrations. We want photographs. And again, we're looking for photographs that need to have about 10 to 25% of the image to be corrected. So Civil War would be really good ones. But we also want to make sure that we're avoiding something that has too much detail. So for instance, you can go to the Farm Security Administration. So this is where we get that famous piece from Dorothea Lange called Migrant Mother that we've talked about in class. And if we go to View All, we'll see all of the images from that time period. Look at how many results we have. So there's, thousands and thousands of images. So let's just take a look at an image that would not be, this isn't very interesting, right? Like if I looked at this image, it's not very interesting. Yeah, and I don't know. It's just, we want to make sure that we're finding an interesting, you're going to be spending some time on this, but also make sure that you're not picking an image like I'm going to pick this one. This image has way too many areas that would need to be colorized. Like look at all the people and all the details. That would take forever. So I would avoid something like that altogether. But then also just notice, like again, this is a very highly detailed photograph. There's not a lot of damage to this one. So I might just like leave this collection altogether because there isn't enough damage. And I might go to something a little bit older like Civil War. So let's go to the Civil War one. And again, I'm going to go to View All to look at all of the images here. And notice that there's some that have, illustrations, newspapers. We would avoid that. Again, this would be an illustration, not a photograph. So I'm going to go ahead. I think portraits are a really good idea. So this would be like a really good one. So we would have like his face and his eye colors and his jacket and maybe the background. So that would be a great one. And his buttons would be a really great one. But does it have a lot of visible damage? Yeah, there's like scratches. There's some missing information. So that would be a really good image. But is it interesting? Do you like the way this guy looks? Ooh, this is another good one. Again, we have scratches, we have dots. Now, I'm looking here, this might be too much. Think about I would say that this is probably more than, 10 to 25%. This might be just too much damage. You could crop it, but you might be spending, there's like thousands of dots here. But that's totally up to you if you, want to take that challenge on. Let's find another one. Yeah, that was okay. But again, think about your characters too. I don't know. I would try to find one that I like. I think this family has probably more of a story to tell than maybe just one person. So that might be something to consider. Ooh. So spend some time. Ooh, interesting. Oh, I love this. I mean, this is just a really great photograph, right? Not too much damage. I don't think there's enough damage probably, but I really like. It has, just because you can tell her age. It's almost like the props tell a little bit more of a story. Not too much damage there, so I'd probably not pick that one. Oh my gosh. Yeah, like this has some areas that I would have to like figure out what to do with that. There are some torn edges, so this would be a good one. So I picked this image, and then let's notice here it says JPEG, JPEG, TIFF. So let's look at the size of this. I want to actually download the one that has the highest amount of kilobytes or megabytes or gigabytes, because that means that it has the most information. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick the JPEG one. So I'm going to try to find the highest resolution of JPEG. I'm going to select that one, and that's going to bring it up here. I'm going to right click and say Save Image As. And on my desktop, I'm going to make a new folder called Damaged Tinted Project. Or, I'm just going to call it Historical Project. And I'm going to put my name on it too, so that nobody takes my project. So inside this folder, I want to have 3 images at the end. I want to have the first one. So this is my original. So this is historical, and I'm going to put my first and last name. Historical image original. Okay. Also in this folder, I'm going to have the fixed damage. So I'm going to actually fix up the damage. And then I'm going to have the tinted one. So you're going to end up uploading 3 final projects. So I can see the original, I can see the fixed up damage, and then I can see the tinted. So you're going to have to turn in all 3 of those files. So just keep that in mind. That's why I'm making it a folder. So I'm just saving that original JPEG and say save. And then I'm going to bring that into Photoshop. Okay. In Photoshop right here, I can see that it says RGB. So the first thing I want to do is I want to change it to CMYK. Some of you might actually have something that says gray. There's several different color modes. We just want to make sure that we're all on the same color mode. So I'm going to go up to Image, Mode, and then we can see I can pick CMYK. Some of you might have grayscale or some other kind of thing. We just want to make sure that we're all on CMYK. So I'm going to select CMYK. It's going to say I'm going to change the color profile. That's exactly what we want. We're going to say OK. And now we can see that it's a CMYK image because we need it to be CMYK because we're going to print it. If you open up our printer, you'll see that there's a cyan, magenta, yellow, and black toner, and that's why we need to have it in that color mode. So now we see this little asterisk. That means I haven't saved, so I'm going to hit Command S and say highest maximum and say OK. And then I'm also going to say image and image size, and I need to check what resolution this is at. So if I'm looking, it's at 72, which is really low. I'm going to go ahead and change it to 300 and say OK. And now we're ready to start fixing the damage. So at this time, I'm going to say File, Save As, and I'm going to change it from historical to now fixed damage. And right now I want it to be a Photoshop image so that it's separate from my original. This is my original right here. And this is the one where I'm actually fixing the damage of the image and it's a Photoshop image, so I can make layers and manipulate it and come back and we'll see those layers. So I'm going to hit save. All right, before I get started, I'm going to duplicate the layer, Command J, and now that is going to help me see that before and after. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to crop out kind of this extra information. I don't need that information, but I do want to actually keep the edges. I do want to keep like the date on here, but I don't need this extra stuff that's like the plastic. I don't need that. So I'm going to go ahead and crop out this information. And right now it's fixed, so I'm going to go to WH resolution. I'm going to change it to 300 and delete how many inches it needs to be. There's no set amount of inches that I need mine to be. So I'm going to crop it. And again, I want to keep the edges of the photograph in there. That's what you should be aiming for. Now some of them have like actual frames on them. If it does have a frame, keep the frame in there, right? Because you can't really get rid of it, but you're only going to be touching up the actual photograph. So again, the photograph is what you're trying to clean up. So I'm going to hit return, or you can hit the little up here. And so now I have to fix this damaged area. I need to actually fill the torn edges of here and the wrinkles. So this is going to take some time. I'm going to click and drag into these areas. So the one tool that you'll probably use a lot is the spot healing brush tool. And remember, you can change the size of it. If you hit the right curly bracket, it will increase the size of the brush. If you hit the left curly bracket, it will decrease the size. So I'm just clicking and dragging to get rid of these wrinkles. And this is it's gonna take some time. And you might have to keep changing the size of the brush as you go along, and just go into these small little areas. And so I'm looking for like kind of the specks first. I would go through all of that. Then we had this really big area of discolored area. So that's when I would probably use something like the patch tool. So I'm going to go ahead and pick the patch tool, and I'm going to pick that area of, looks like there was some kind of chemical damage here, and because that's like a bigger area. Then I would bring it over here. Look at that, did a really good job. And then again, I'm going to go back to here and fill in these specks. Now we're missing some chunks of this photograph here and the edges, and that means that I need to actually fill it. So I'm actually going to pick the clone stamp tool, and I would actually pick probably a square brush. Let's see if I have any hard square. And do you see how that, so that I can actually get that? And I'm actually going to pick one that's a little bit bigger, yeah. And so when I click, it's going to say define a point. Hold down Option and then click where you want to find a source point. So I'm going to hold down Option on my keyboard and select this area over here, and then I'm going to start filling this. So it's saying that I'm accidentally on lighten, so I need to make sure that's on normal. I need to make sure that the opacity is at 100, and I actually want to just sample from my current layer. I'm going to do that again. Option, select here. So that might be something that you run into. Do you see how it's filling in? Very good. So I want to do that on all the edges. So I'm actually making up this information. And it's not doing a very good job because it's too dark here. So I'm actually going to step back and erase that. And I'm actually going to pick my Option Alt from right here. And it's still a little bit dark. So you might have to find, like, you know, a closer area so that it matches. And again, that's going to take some time. So just go work slowly. You could also pick with, you know, you can actually fill an area. Right click and you could say, I want to actually fill this area with what? You know, it's going to say, you know, content aware. We could try that and hit OK. And we can see that it didn't do such a hot job. But maybe I want to actually like fill it with a portion of that. You could do that. You could copy and paste and fill that in. So there's a lot of different ways that you can actually go about fixing up parts of it. And again, I have some more spots. So this is going to take me some time. And then when you're done, again, just File, Save As. So I would save when you have finished all your damage, save the Photoshop and say yes, I want to save that. But then I'm also going to say File, Save As, and then I'm also going to save a JPEG. and save that. So when I've fixed up all the damage. So that now I have 3 files in there, but you're going to upload 2. You're going to upload the original, and you're also going to upload the one that you actually fixed all the damage. The other thing that I forgot to mention was that not just the damage, but you also want to check the curves in the layers. So I'm going to go to the black and white cookie and add curves. And I'm going to try it with curves first. And that's what a curves look like. Oh, and it's, I got to invert the whole thing because it just did the selected area. So that's the curves. And it's because I have one area selected. So I'm going to make sure that's deselected. And then I'm also going to try it with levels and see what it actually looks like with levels. So I'm going to go to cyan. And then I'm going to go to magenta. And again, we bring the little sliders to the edge of the mountain. And we're going to go yellow and black. Okay, so let's look at the difference. This is what the levels look like before and after. And then this is what the curves look like. I definitely think the levels look better. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete the curves. So I highly suggest you do both. And sometimes you might do a mixture of both. I just thought the curves just didn't do a good job with that one, so I'm not even going to use it. So it's kind of up to you. You try both, see if both of them look together work the best, or either or, and then save that. Again, I'm going to file save as a Photoshop file. Okay, and then I'm also going to file save as a JPEG. But obviously I didn't, you're going to fix all of the damage first and hit OK. All right, so now we're ready to tint.